Now let's work on the connections page that we see on LinkedIn. So when we add a connection, only those posts, or yes, those posts we can see in the home page, no other post. So one thing I have done here, one change. So when we are registering, we have to send data to a collection called users. So I am attaching one dummy image link so that our image, or what I mean is our uh, profile image is not like this. So that's why we are doing it. So it comes like this image. Okay, but we can change it if you go to view profile and this. Fine. Now let me come over to this component called layouts. Let me create a layout called, not a folder, a file called connection layout.jsx. Now we can just replicate these items here and make this to, okay, let me create a page. So in this, not in this, in this pages folder, let me create connections.jsx. So the same thing we have in the home.jsx will be in connections page, but this component called home component will be replaced with connections. So let me do that. Let me let me come out to component and create a file here called connections component.jsx. In here we will do same thing. Okay, yes, let me create a functional component here and this will be here. Fine. Now we have to import, okay, we don't need home component, we have to import this connections component in here. So we can remove home component import and say connections component from the route and add it here. Now we have to import, we have to change the name of this to connections and then import this page to this layout. So let me remove this and say import connections from pages connection, and we are done. Now come over to routes. So we can just collapse these, come over to routes, and in here we will create one more layout. So basically we have this icon, so this is for profile. So we can create one more for, which is called, let's say, connections, and we have to get this layout. So we can close this. Okay, we have to get this layout. So let me import connections, what is the name, connection layout. Okay, I think we have to change the name. Yes, it's not changed. Connection layout. Now if we type, it will be here. Save this and this. Now this will be here on connections. Now you see this icon after home, this is for connections. So let me add the route there in components common top bar component here. So go to route, this should be not profile, this should be connections. Save, and now if we click in the page, it will be connections component seen here, visible here. So in this component we will do our stuff. Okay, so just like the register component, we have one SAS where we can write our styling file. So say connections.scss or connections component. Wait a sec. Okay, yes, so this should be not in pages. Connection component, where it is here. Let me import this. So import, let me go to any component and get the folder name here, and this will be just be known as connection component or connections component.scss. So name the import here. Fine. Now styling file is here and the JSX file. Now here we need to show all the users. So let me get all the users. So we can say import get all users. Okay, what is the name? So let me come over to API Firestore API.jsx. We had one function to get all the users. I created it. So we had get all users. This. So get all users from API slash Firestore API, and wrap this because we have to export this like this. Now one use effect hook we need, so that we can call this function, and it takes only one param called set all users. So we have to create a state and feed the setter function in this. So use state and then const users set users equals to use state, let's say an array. Now pass this here. Okay, and this will contain our data for the all the users. So we will map through this users. So say users dot map user, and we will return a component. So we can just say this. Let me create a component here in common folder. So say first a folder we need. Say all. Say just say what can we say? Connected users. Let's say this, and inside we can add a file called index.jsx. So let me make this functional. So this should be, what is the name that I added? Connected users. And just add it here. Fine. So let me import the common component here called connected users. And just we have to return this component like this. Now, okay, one sec. I think we have to import. Just do this. Yes. Now it will be fine. Now pass the users in here, and we are reading this text 4 times because we have 4 users. We just have to print the name and data from this. So let me add a p tag here, and then we will say user dot. Let me come out to Firestore and say name first. Let me just add the name now. We are saying the name, and just one more. I mean, let's say 2 more. One for headline and one for the image. So let's leave the image for now because we will style it later. We are just focusing on the functionality. So in this div, give a class name of connections main. Now let me copy a class, this class, and in here we can say in the styling file display grid grid template columns auto, just save 2 autos. Fine. Now what we can do is we are having a div. Let me make this div as grid child, and we can use this class here as well. So we can say grid child. Let me add gap here, 20 pixels between them. In the grid child, let's add a border. So border 1px solid, let's say 212121. Save. Okay, something is wrong here. Okay, I guess Nishan, no, nothing is wrong. It's fine. Okay. Now we have to make the width of these to be equal. So say width 100px. Let's try to a small 300. Okay, 300 is fine. Now let me align them in the center. So justify content center. They're aligned. Let me give margin top or align items center. Yes. Then let me add a finite height here called 300 pixels as well. Okay, it's too much. Try 100. Yes, fine. Here, let me add padding 20 px. Okay. Here also. Yes. Okay. Let's say margin they should be, not padding. Or we can also add padding a little bit called 10 px. Okay, it's breaking. So what if we add margin here? Okay. Okay. Gap, let's say 10 or 0. Okay, I guess it's fine. Make 10. Okay, this is fine. Yes. So also we need to make the text align a center to make the centered text like this. Now we have 4 users, and also in here let's make cursor pointer. So designing is done for now. So we can close this component. Let me create a function here. So say const get current user, and we will pass this function as props to this connected users. Let me get it over here, and when we click this child, it will send us the ID of the user that we are clicking on. So we can say user dot ID. Simple. Is this ID or something else? No, it's ID, I guess. Yes. So we can get it here as parameter. So console.log ID. Let's try what will happen when we click any of the items on the screen, any user. So let me open the console. Click Nishant. We are getting this ID for this user. Click this. The ID is like this. Okay. Now we will focus on the same principle that we used when we are having the add like. So where is it? Like post. The same way. Exactly the same. I mean, not exactly, but fine. So now let me just copy the entire function and make this as add connection. So we don't need liked for now. So let me just leave the set doc. So this will take the user ID and the target ID, that which connection we have to add. So replace post ID with target ID. We also need to replace the reference. So let me come over here and create one more reference called connections ref equals to collection keyword. Yes. Fired store, comma, the name, so say connections. Now let me copy this function, come over here and replace likes ref with this. Let me add this to connection to add. Now set doc will take connection to add the user ID and target ID. We will also throw a toast when added, when the connection has been added. So we can say connection added. Now save this. Let me import this function in the, okay, let's say where should we import this? Add connection. We can add it here. Yes. So let me import from Fired store add connection. So we can call this method here. And as I said, we need to pass two things. So first is the current user ID. So we can get it from props. So let me come over to pages where we have a home page. So connection, okay, home page. Let me come over to layouts. We have home layout, and here we are having the current user like this. So same way we have this in connection layout. So in connections page, we are passing the current user. So now let me come to connections page, which is the pages folder here, connection. And here also we are getting the current user, passing into connections component. I mean here. So we can just destructure this. And now we will have the ID of the current user. So first thing we have, let me close this. And the first thing we are passing the current user ID. So say current user.id, then simply this ID. We don't need console log, so remove it. So now we can try this and see what happens. Okay, I think everything is set, target ID and all. So this set doc will create a collection with this ID. I mean, it will combine both the user ID and target ID. So click anyone, let's say Nishant Kumar. Wait, Nishant Kumar. Let me click this Nishant Kumar 2. Connection added, and if you refresh this, let's see what we are getting here. We have connections, and inside we have two things: target ID and the user ID. So the user ID is the user ID. I mean, let me show you. Come to users. Remember, this starts from BW9. So come to users. This is the user ID BW9 that we passed, and the other thing we passed is the the other thing we passed is the target ID from the users. So we have clicked Nishant Kumar 2. So let me search for this. Nishant Kumar 2, where is it? Where are you? Yes, this is a Nishant Kumar 2 and it is R8Ti. So come over here back, and this is R8Ti. So it takes the ID of the current user as user ID and the ID of the user that we clicked upon, that ID, which is called target ID. Now one thing I have to do here is, see, we are having all the connections here like this. Okay, let me remove this other one. Okay, we are having all these connections, but we also have the fourth user, which is my user. I mean, this is me. I think this Nishant or this Nishant Kumar, but we cannot add our own user. It is not, I mean, it's not the proper use case. It will be a bug, so we have to fix it. So in this, we will compare if the user.id is equal to current user.id. If this is true, it means the user is our own. We are the owner of this user card. One second. Do we have user ID or something else? No, we have ID. Yes. If the user ID from here if the user ID from here matches the current ID, which is our ID, we will not show this. We can just say show an empty fragment when it is false. Okay, one second. They should be return should be here, I guess. Okay, no, wait, we did a mistake. Let me. Okay, we have to just copy this and paste it here. I mean, return. Yes. Now we are not seeing Nishant Kumar, which is our current user. The user, yes. So that's done. Now we have to filter the connections here in the home page, so that we see only those posts from the connections that we added. So come over to this file extrude API.js6. So we also have a function for get likes. So this get likes by user. Let me copy this and we will add it here. So let me add this. So we will replace a few things. For example, let's say get connections. So this will take the user ID and target ID. So let me remove these two for now. Set liked and likes count. Okay. So we will compare the target ID with target ID and user ID is here already. So same way that we had in the likes, we will get all the connections. So let me just check if is liked is true or false, like this. So we don't need this, remove it. Make the likes to connections. Let me change a few things here. and this likes ref will be connections ref, connection ref, and this will be connection query. Connections query. Let me pass the query here as like query. Okay. Now this connections, we are just filtering through the response to get the actual data. Now we will choose if the if even one, I mean even the if, I mean even if the first or one element has the user ID equal to like, okay, let me this as connection. So even if one user have the ID equal to connection.user ID, I mean this, so connection will have a user ID. If this is true, we will throw this as true. So this should be is connected. Basically it means that the ID we are passing here, the user ID, is present here or not. If it is present, it means we are connected, else we are not connected. Now let me get this get connected here to, let's say, where can we call this? So let's call this here. I mean, yes. Now let me create one more use effect hook. So we will call this function every time when our ID, I mean current ID and ID changes. So one second, connected users. Okay, let's try this here and see what happens. We need the, I mean we need the use effect. We already have it. Okay, get connections. So let me create one state here called const is connected set is connected. I think I have misplaced the spelling. Connected equals to use state, say false initially. Now just pass this in get connections. Wait, we also need to pass user ID and target ID, which is basically these two things. So pass them here with set connected. Set is connected. Let me get it here and set it like this. Now this will be this will have if the user is connected or not. Now save and let me check. So let me refresh the page once. Okay, so we are not getting anything connect. Okay, this we have done something wrong because they shouldn't be here. They should be in the home page. So let me go to the, I mean this page called post card. Okay, posts card, I think here. Yes, wait a sec, not here. I think, let me see where should I add this. So where should we add it? We should add it someplace where we are having the profile cards. So I think here we can add it. Yes, here we have to add it. So let me cut this function and add it here. So it's connected, we need to create, I mean this state. So just cut this also and add the state here. Fine. Now I think we are done. Add connection. Okay, we have to import get connections from the Firebase API. So let me add this. Okay, use effect is not defined. Basically, okay, use effect is not defined. Where? Yes. So let me define this. Fine. Okay, ID is not defined. ID, this ID. So this is a target ID from posts. So how can we get it? Okay, again I think we did it wrong. We don't need to add it here. We have to add this in the posts card. Where is it? Here. so that we can get access to the ID of the current user and our ID. So let me just edit this here. So okay, we don't need this, remove it. Okay, now let me come over to the top and import the things that we add here, like the state here. So just cut it and add it here. So now other thing we need is we don't need this. We need the get connections keyword. I mean the function name. So let me copy function name and add it here. Save. So user effect is not defined. Let's define it. Okay. Now we don't have the current user.id. Okay, we do have it. And okay, we don't have this ID. So instead, we will have to pass the posts.id. So, or it's it user ID. Let me check in posts. Yes, it's user ID. So say posts.user ID. So this is R8 something. And do we have a connection with this? Yes, we have it. So we will see only this connection on the home page if it is successful. So is connected is here. We are passing this. Let's check. So we're getting all these options like false, 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 false. But don't worry. Okay, here we are having this. Okay, we need to pass the posts.current ID here as well. Now we're getting mixed responses like true, false, true, false, true, false, like this. So disconnected, I mean is connected. We have state here. So now let me come over to this here. Let me. Okay, we only need to show those posts where we have added the connections. So how can we do that? This div is okay. Let's say this entire div. Wait, like button. No, here we can do it at the return, at the parent return. So if is connected is true, it means we have connected to the connection. I mean it's connected. We have added him. So if it is true, else we can just throw an empty fragment. That means no, we are not connected to that user. So let me just collapse this div, and after this div add an empty fragment. Now save this and you will see that we are seeing the posts from only Nishant Kumar 2 like this. No other posts. So let's check the ID of Nishant Kumar 2. So where is it? This is Nishant Kumar. Yes, this is it, I think. Yes. It's Nishant Kumar 2. See the name. The ID is R8TI. Now come over to connections and the ID of target is R8TI. So only that we are seeing here. Now let me delete this, what is it? This document, and we will see nothing here. But here we will have these three connections. So let's say we add Nishant Kumar, this. So it will be added. Now come to home page and we will see the post of only this user. Now one more thing is remaining. So if we add a connection, this connection name shouldn't be available in the connections page. So we will do same thing that we did here in the which in this page called posts card. So we will hide this connection when it is, we will hide the name of connection when is connected is false. Sorry, if it is true or false. Yes, if it is false. No, not false, true. Sorry. So now we can do this. So we need what do things we need? We need to get connections. So let's get it here. Okay. We also need the use effect hook. So let me get it also. Add it here after this second use effect. It takes the current user.id and posts.id. Okay. Current user.id. Okay. I think in our case it is user.id. But the thing is, we are mapping the users from here. So we won't be able to use the user ID outside the scope of this block. So we have to again move this inside the connected users. So where is it? Here. So let me add this here, and we will have the user ID. So yes, we will have the user ID and the get and the current user ID. So user ID is this. Okay, just let me make this as user ID, and then we need this current user. So we can just pass this. I mean, this we can pass, where is it? Current user here. So just pass it like this, and we can get this from props. So save. One sec. What happened? Okay, I think we're passing. I mean, it's not getting passed properly. Now it will be fine. So the things we have: user, which is the target ID. Then we have the current user, our ID. But does this have user.user ID or something else? I think this is user.id, not user ID. So make this as ID, and here as well. Okay, use effect is not defined, so we can define this. So let's say use effect. Save. Get connections is not defined, so let's add it. Import get connections. We have defined. Set is connected is not defined, so also let me define this. Let me remove it from here. Okay, set connect. What is the name? Set is connected. So add a state here. Const is connected. Set is connected. First to use state. Empty, let's say, and it's false. Boolean value. Now this is connected. We will have to filter through this. So if it is true, it means we don't have to show anything. It means that we have already added the connection. So we will not see Nishant Kumar here. We are only seeing Nishant Kumar 2 and Nishant. Now let me delete this document from here. And if we delete this, we will see all the three connections here. Now let me click add on anyone, say Nishant Kumar 2. This will be hidden from here and shown here with all the posts. So that's how we added connections, or I mean that's how we implemented connections.